Hello, good day, good evening, wherever it is that you may be. My name is Zach, and I am one of the lost. Today is, what is today's date, actually?
It's the 8th, I think.
Oh, yeah, looks like it is January 8th, 2021.
No, it is the 10th, actually.
Ooh, I am absolutely wrong. It is the 10th. Shows how often I pay attention to what actual date it is. But I am sitting here with my long friend Charles, and today we are going to talk about something very near and dear to our hearts, the outdoor code. So, in the outdoor code is a 4 bullet point ideal from the scouting program that we were both a part of. So, your first bullet point here is be clean in my outdoor manners.
Oh, I'm gonna have to interject. Running into this, maybe give a more simplified introduction as to why we're going into this, because it'll help set the stage as why are they just throwing this information at us.
You make a very good point.
We're in lockdown, more people are trying to get outdoors, trying to reconnect with nature, and we would like to take this opportunity to remind people and that have been in the outdoors and have maybe forgotten, or those who are just starting to discover nature for the first time, that there's a certain etiquette we need to uphold.
Yeah, there's an etiquette to the outdoors that it is our responsibility in order to maintain, because the land is a heritage. This land has been here for a very long time, and there are native peoples that have lived here long before you and me ever set foot here. And there's a level of disrespect that humans tend to do in the outdoors. They drop trash, they move things, they have a tendency to just disrupt the natural order. And we need to stick more of a harmony with the nature around you. So, be clean. Be clean in your outdoor manners.
Be respectful and appropriate.
Exactly. All right, bullet point number 2. Be careful with fire. And this is a very, very major one, because fire is not something that you control. If you think you're the master of fire, you need to stay very far away from it. Because the minute that you think you've got it is the minute it's gonna get out.
Yeah, it's the one lesson everyone needs to learn. Fire is dangerous. It is an unyielding force, and the destruction is almost incalculable. Just, I mean, personal experience. Like, look at the wildfires in California.
That is a very good point. The recent wildfires in California have caused mass amounts of damage, to the point where people's homes, lives, whole mountainsides, old growth forests are gone.
And not even just that, but the ecology of the landscape, the moisture that's being sucked out is tearing the vegetation apart, and it's going to make it significantly harder for things to regrow, to replenish the earth for years to come. And this is all because of human negligence in proper fire handling and safety ordinances.
That's absolutely true. Now, these areas that have burned, they're not gone forever. They will come back, probably not within our lifetime to what we recall before the fire, but they will all come back as long as we do our own part. Now, some basic safety tips for fire: never make your fire in an area that's got lots of brush. It's not safe to do so. If you are in a camping area, like an official camping area, you have a fire pit or a fire ring, whichever term you wish, in your campsite. You should never make your fire anywhere other than that ring. And when you guys leave your campsite, clean that fire ring. Because as Boy Scouts, That's very annoying when you get to a fire ring and it's filled with trash. Take all that with you, please.
Yeah.
When you're out on the trail for through hikers, safety is your utmost importance. If you are in an area that isn't safe to have a fire in, you need to do your very best to make it safe. Now, I'm not.
Sorry.
ahead.
Maybe you're in an area that you're not trying. Maybe you're just hiking through a spot, but it's through a lot of tall, dry grass, and maybe it's right next to a freeway. There's always a chance someone's gonna flick a cigarette off, and you may not have anything to do with the campfire, but there could easily come a roaring fire coming across the hillside.
That's true. And guys probably don't know it. That's actually illegal to do so. Don't flick your cigarettes out.
If you're gonna smoke, make sure you have a designated area. If you're in tall, dry grass, you're gonna have to wait. Sorry, bud. Not just for your safety, but for everyone around you.
It is the unfortunate truth. Through hikers, the more experienced ones, or even some of the less experienced, but still, they know where you can and cannot make a fire. For those of you that are just starting out, try not to make a fire so close to your tent that the embers are actually going to burn holes in your tent. I have personally made this mistake. Actually, not too long ago, I actually got an ember onto my sleeping mat. Luckily for me, it actually landed in between two air pockets, so it's actually still good to go, but lesson learned.
Yeah.
The next point when it comes to fire safety, you need to make sure that fire is cold out when you leave. And I do mean cold out. You should be able to put your hand in it and not feel any warmth at all. If you feel warmth, that is not out yet.
Yeah. Any heat radiating, you just keep going at it until you're done. Sand, rock, small rock, dirt are typically better for snuffing out flames because it makes that seal, whether as compared to water, will evaporate and cause more smoke to plummet. Pume. Will cause more smoke to pume up, and, well, honestly, that's just not healthy to breathe just in general.
Yeah, that's not really a fun one there. And then if you're making a campfire outside of a ring, through hikers again, erase the evidence of your campfire. If you need to, dig a hole, make a small little fire pit for yourself, fill in that hole, make sure it's gone. Just one of the various tenets I personally live by: leave no trace. If you're gonna make a pit, erase that pit.
And that goes back to just respecting the land. Leaving no trace isn't just trying to make everything neat and clean. It's also just, we're intruders on someone else's home turf. We don't live out in the wilderness. This belongs to the critters, the predators and the prey, and everything else that lives in this beautiful cycle. We are walking through their home. We're not just gonna start trashing it. It's impolite and it's disrespectful to our culture as human beings. We need to remind ourselves that we are visiting. This isn't our playground, and we need to respect someone else's home.
Very well said. And for those of you within the pagan communities, your land spirits are here. This is where they live. Don't mess up their home. You don't want anyone coming into your home and messing everything up. But they're going to show respect. You need to show respect too. Got any other fire tips?
Typically, your fire should be based on your needs, size and strength, the density of the fire. You also need to know what kind of wood you're burning. Other woods will burn hotter, longer, such as this manzanita. One, it takes a while to get it going, but once it gets going, you got a nice furnace. And that kind of stuff can get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, it very much can. Oak is a good one too. That one burns a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for longevity. If you have a large camping area and you need that, by all means. But for smaller, for two people like us, you don't need much more than a fire a foot off the ground. Flames should not be more than 2 feet.
Yeah. And then pine cones. Pine cones are really awesome. They're good for helping start a fire. They'll burn hot for like half an hour, give or take. And they usually have a ton of sap, so it doesn't really take much to get them going.
One other thing about fire safety, because we don't have the luxury of fire extinguishers, you can't just lug that on a 50-miler.
That is a very good point.
What you can use are number 10 cans, lightweight, and you can easily pack them into your packing backpack. But if you fill it with rock or water or dirt or whatever, leave it outside your tent or by the campfire, you'll always have something to help extinguish something quickly and immediately. This can be the difference between life and death, or a very, very large bill when you get home.
Yeah. Pretty sure it's Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fires, and that is a very good way to help prevent. Anything else?
I think we pretty much covered it, yeah.
I think that might do it for fire safety. On to the next one. All right. Number 3, be considerate in the outdoors. Yes, I do have notes. So, treat the land and other land users with respect, because they're farmers out here. Some of this land is grazing land. They have cattle. They don't want their cattle gone. Plus, you don't really want to have to deal with that. Cows can be scary.
Yeah, even especially the mothers that have just given birth.
Oh yeah.
Any mother would tell you, you don't mess with cattle.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah, it goes for any large animal, any animal in general, especially predators out there. If you see a cub, that mother is not far away. And I'm sure many of you have seen that viral video of the man coming across a mountain lion and it chased him away. That is case in point why you need to be very considerate to outdoors.
And this touches back onto leaving no trace. Like, we're in someone else's home. There's people home, and they will chase you out if you're not doing something you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I'd chase someone out of my home too if they were not being very respectful.
Yeah, and some of them will keep chasing you.
You know, much like that mountain lion. It was a solid like 10-minute video. If you guys haven't seen it, you should definitely look it up, because that's a big kitty, and that is the very reason why you need to stay away from the cubs.
Yeah. So, and it's not just about large predators. If you find a deer den or a rabbit hole, I know families like going out hiking, and sometimes the kids will find a hole, and we all know kids love to dig for some reason. It's something in the water, probably, but
Probably.
disrupting and destroying habitats is the same thing as you're leaving a trace. So minding your manners and minding your children are a good way to leaving no trace and respecting that land. Because again, what if someone's home, and what if it's not a rabbit hole? What if it's a snake hole?
Yeah, it's very true. Especially wintertime, snakes are hibernating. You do not want to wake them up.
It's much for their safety as well as ours. We're just passing through. We're on a journey.
And this is actually a decent segue into campsites in general.
Mm-hmm.
So do not walk through somebody else's campsite. That is so beyond disrespectful. If you need to cross through, announce yourself and ask permission to walk through it. Don't just tromp through someone else's camp, because that's just not right. You got to respect other land users as well, your fellow hikers or campers. If you got a small trail and you've got joggers or bicyclists, or some of the more wild areas will have pack mules, horses, step aside. Same thing with just like the freeway, slower traffic to the right. Just step off, let them pass, continue on your way.
It's a personal choice to engage nature, experience it, to reconnect. Keep in mind, you're not the only one out on the road, and not everyone's going to be in a good mood. Some people are out there trying to sort things out.
Also, smile and wave. Say good morning, man. Like, everybody out here is out here because they want to be. No one's out here because they have to be. Like, it's beautiful land out here. Number 4, be conservation minded. And I kind of have to read this one a little bit. You need to learn about and practice good conservation: soils, waters, forests, minerals, grassland, wildlife, and energy. And more importantly, urge others to do the same. Because if we don't do that, this land is gonna disappear. It is gonna rot away, and we won't be able to come and enjoy this. We won't be able to make these fantastic videos for you.
I think part of being conservation minded is, aside from the big elephant in the room, industrialism. As humans, we tend to consume, grow, and expand. It's in our nature. It's what we're doing. It's how we kind of survive.
Pollution as an umbrella term.
Yeah, but to speak at a more individual level, being conservation minded as an individual when you're out in the outdoors, it again goes back to leaving no trace. You mind your manners, you don't leave your trash out, and you be mindful of what resources you're using, whether you are foraging for them or if you are doing a week-long backpacking trip and you're doing all the packing beforehand, all the food is laid out. Make sure you know what you're using and what you're going to have to carry with you moving forward. Biodegradable items are always good if you have no other choice, but things simple as fruit would be a significantly better choice for a trail snack rather than a sandwich from Subway's.
Yes.
There's always a chance that you might leave litter behind. There's also the benefits of just dropping your orange peels on the trail.
That's true.
It's biodegradable, plus it's going to help nourish the land.
And I personally see that everywhere. Last few times I've been hiking, I've literally followed trails of orange peels. It's like somebody came out here with a big old bag of mandarin oranges and just kept peeling away.
Like 30 of them.
Yeah, it was definitely something else to see. But that, I personally don't have even a problem with it. Because the way I see it is that orange came from the earth and now it's going back to the earth, and all it's going to do is help provide nutrition for whatever may grow there in the future, even if it is just like a bird or something that like takes it off. I don't know why they would, but hey, whatever. I'm definitely not a bird person.
But keeping in mind the natural cycle that we're all part of, and trying to think on those lines on how to both act in the wilderness and as well as try to survive in the wilderness. Again, if it's just a walk through the park or if you're going for a 2-week hiking trip, you need to be mindful of your resources, of what you're using, how much and how it's going to impact the surrounding area.
Yeah.
Which again, leave no trace. You shouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, very simple concept. And you can interpret it in many different ways, and it all leads you back to the same spot, man. Just don't leave a noticeable impact wherever it is that you go. Like trails. Don't trailblaze. Follow the established trails. Now, if you're out in the wild, try and follow like game trails and stuff like that. Things that have already been established.
Herd animals will typically have trails that you can follow. They're not nearly as well kept up as like state park trails, but
oh yeah, definitely
you
not.
can definitely see that one line of trails that also is covered with cow pies or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and the animals know this area way better than we do. Those trails lead somewhere for a reason, either food, water, or shelter. Like, animals are not as complicated as humans. They don't overthink things. They go for what's necessary, and they know where to find it. That's why they have migratory patterns.
Yeah, they just use common sense and instinct, and they seem to work out pretty fine.
Yeah. Touching on encouraging others, don't be a dick. If people don't want to listen, they're not going to listen to you. Say what you have. If they don't want to take it, that's on them. But, just do your best to encourage, not necessarily chastise, because that usually gets a negative response in return.
The difference between belittling someone for their lack of knowledge and actually educating someone to make them aware of their surroundings, it can be the difference of a friend and a foe. You can either make an enemy by yelling at this person for doing something that is, well, it could be truly wrong, disrespectful to the surrounding area, or you can use this as a teaching opportunity and possibly come out with a friend.
That's true. There's a book that I really like, and in there it actually says that I've made more friends with a bowl of soup and a half a loaf of bread than any other gift that I've ever given. Paraphrasing that one, but it's still the same thing, man.
Yeah.
If someone is struggling, ask if they would like some help. Be like, I know another way if you would like me to show you. More often than not, they'll welcome additional knowledge. Don't be a gatekeeper. Knowledge is for everyone.
Agreed.
Got anything else on conservation minded?
No, I do not.
All right, well, I think that will actually finish it. It is kind of cold out here where we're at. I definitely should have put on a long sleeve under my flannel. All right.
Yeah, always prepared.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Be prepared. All right, well, till next time, friends, peace be with you.